And joining us now from his own office at the Sault Ste. Marie Innovation Center is Jason Naccarato. He is the Vice President of Development for the Sault Ste. Marie Innovation Center. And Jason, it's good of you to spend some time with us today. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Not at all. Tell us, first of all, where are you from?
I'm originally from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. I was born and raised here. Spent about 15 years down in southern Ontario working through the automotive industry. And then I was able to return back to Sault Ste. Marie about 2.5 years ago.
Well, that was my next question. What brought you home?
Just, wanted to be with family, started having children, wanted them to grow up with family, and then was able to find a great opportunity here at the Innovation Center doing important work, work that I'm passionate about and work that really matters for the community. So the right fit, the right time and the right fit.
I'm going to ask you more about that work in a second, but you're doing something that Sault Ste. Marie, I guess, over the years has experienced more of the opposite of, namely young people leaving as opposed to young people coming back. Do you notice that?
Yeah, I've noticed a trend probably throughout the 15 years I was away. The trend is starting to reverse a bit. We're starting to see, especially as the demographics change in the Sioux, you're starting to see a lot of the baby boomer type generation get into the later years of their careers, looking towards retirement, looking towards that, riding into that sunset, and that's creating a lot of opportunities for the youth in Sault Ste. Marie, as well as some of the new directions that Sault Ste. Marie is doing. It's a factor of diversifying the economy, as you can say. As we still are very proud of our advanced manufacturing base here in Sault Ste. Marie, but as we start to migrate into new sectors like alternative energy, like smart energy, and like ICT, and some of the great things we're doing with digital technology and digital gaming, that opens up great new opportunities for the youth, and we're happy to see the youth migration come back to Sault Ste. Marie as well.
Well, let's follow up on that. The Sault Ste. Marie Innovation Center, where you work right now, when was it created?
It was created about 13, 14 years ago.
And how long of that 13, 14 years have you been there?
I've been there 2.5 years.
Okay, what does it do?
Our mandate is to grow science and technology in the Algoma region. So we do that through a number of different initiatives. We do that both through supporting the local businesses through both our incubator, where we're helping young companies who are just starting out through their early years. So a company could stay in our incubator for about 3 years, where we help them with different types of service gaps that they may have, or capability gaps, and help them graduate into a state where they can get out into the economy on their own. We also have about 60 clients that we assist with that are already established companies that, again, they may have a gap in their capabilities. They may have something where they just need simple help with their marketing plans. They may need help with patents or technology challenges. So we're here to help the existing companies. And then finally, we have our own projects, our own development initiatives, which we work on, which we start here in the Innovation Center. We help to see them mature and grow, and then we establish them as something that we do ourselves, and we do put those out, and we look for opportunities that exist within our communities and opportunities that exist throughout the province that we can take advantage of, and again help to create those highly skilled jobs and positions within our community.
Now, obviously, it costs money to do what you're doing, so where do you get all your funding from?
We are pretty creative at times. We look to both our city, which first and foremost, which has been very supportive of the Innovation Center since its early stages. We are able to leverage that money with money from the province. We're blessed in Northern Ontario to have the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund, which we look to in a lot of our projects, as well as FedNor, which has come to the table on numerous occasions to help us out with a number of our development projects. Recently, we've also taken advantage of international funding in regards of ICCI, which is another federal fund that helps us to engage with different types of companies and individuals and technologies and organizations abroad. That funding is something we've started taking advantage of. And of course, our own development initiatives, which we start and have been growing, have been starting to earn revenue for the center and helps the Innovation Center to become a sustainable entity, which we hope to be very soon, where it's our own projects are being reinvested into new projects, and that's where we hope to become very, very soon. And we are already seeing a number of our development initiatives earning some revenue that is reinvested back into the mandate of growing science and technology in the Algoma region.
But overwhelmingly at the moment, you're essentially taxpayer funded from 3 different levels of government. Is that fair to say?
Fair to say.
Okay. How do we know, as taxpayers, whether we're getting our money's worth?
We are absolutely accountable for reporting to the taxpayers the return on that investment. And the return on that investment has been historically remarkably high and remarkably successful. We're able to take those dollars and really mobilize a lot of the initiatives that otherwise would be stagnant. We're able to take advantage of a number of opportunities that without that initial capital and funding going into them, we just couldn't get them off the ground. So we report every year at the end of the fiscal year what the return on all that investment has been. So in a number of cases, we're able to take, for example, the money we get from the municipality and leverage that with a number of other types of opportunities that come to be. We're also, with all funding from all levels of government, we're given deliverables that we are always held accountable and are must-haves and things that we must hit in order to put the final claims in and essentially get paid for these funds. So it's not something where we are paid up front in all forms of government, both municipal, provincial, and federal. We have deliverables in every project we apply to. We must hit those deliverables in order to put our final claims in. So we definitely have a culture of accountability throughout our own organization, and we're more than happy to work with all layers of government to make sure that both we're holding ourselves accountable and others are holding us accountable.
Okay, I'm going to give an example here, and I'm sure I've got the numbers wrong, so you can perhaps help us with the more accurate numbers. But for example, do you go to government and say, give us $1 million and we can turn that into $5 million of economic activity, therefore making it worthwhile for you to support us? Is that how it goes?
It normally goes in terms of jobs. The job seems to be the major metric that we're measured on. So when we do take, for example, $1 million, there would normally be reached out into some product that we'd have to deliver. So if you look, for example, something in IT, there would normally be a software we would create. There'd be a number of jobs we would create, and we'd also have to prove through a business case that this money is sustainable. So even if the project is limited to being a 3-year project, we have to prove and we have to show that above and beyond the 3 years, this project is going to be sustainable 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. So it's a matter of using this government money that we do take advantage of from time to time to create the foundation to build something much bigger and grander that through the taxes that it would generate through the revenue side, it becomes an investment for the government.
Do you know your annual budget off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I'm guessing that with massive deficits being run by the federal and provincial government, and of course the claim on the municipal tax base by so many different stakeholders in Sault Ste. Marie, it's incumbent on everybody to watch those pennies very carefully. So when you have to go back to your prime funders and say, here's how you know that your money has been well invested, what do you point to?
Well, I would point back to my experience in the private sector. And my experience in the private sector would be we have to have a culture of continuous improvement in all things we do. And when you look at my background in advanced manufacturing, if our companies, whether it be advanced manufacturing, clean energy, smart energy, information technology, it's important that we are continuously improving and we're moving forward because the rest of the world is. And we are in a global economy where we are competing with the rest of the world. So if we become stagnant, we're no longer moving forward and we become uncompetitive with the rest of the companies and the rest of the organizations globally, which are trying to do the same thing. So for example, the province has put a lot of money into smart energy and into clean energy and clean tech. That's something where the money has gone in, the investment has gone in, but it's very important that we are continuing to improve and we are continuing to advance that sector forward so we can stay competitive with companies like Germany, countries like Japan, countries like China, where they're also investing. So if we're not moving forward, if we're not continuously improving, then we're not investing in ourselves, and that's a pretty dangerous game to be playing.
But I presume you've got a bit of a double challenge there insofar as you're not just competing against You've used the example of green energy. The people who do green energy in Germany or in France or in Spain or whatever, but you've also got innovation hubs in Waterloo, in Hamilton. You've got there. I mean, there are plenty of cities in Ontario alone who are also trying to hunt in the same territory that you are. How does that make your life complicated?
Well, I think in Northern Ontario we have a number of competitive advantages over Waterloo and over Guelph and over Toronto. We generate 600 megawatts of clean energy right here in Sault Ste. Marie. We have 189 megawatts of wind. We have 60 megawatts of wind under construction. The first wind farm 50% owned by a First Nation community, being Batchewana First Nations. We have 60 megawatts of solar. We have 203 megawatts of hydro just in this area. And our steel mill was the first integrated steel mill in Canada to have a cogeneration plant of 70 megawatts. You can't go anywhere in North America, Steve, and find renewable energy assets that we have here in Sault Ste. Marie. So I would challenge any of those communities to try and look to what we have in Sault Ste. Marie and try to really say they're competitive, because we have durable competitive advantage. Not only that, the North, across Northern Ontario, has the potential to be putting more renewable energy assets online through our hydro potential, through our wind potential, that are competitive with any gas plant or nuclear plant you can put elsewhere. And these are renewable, they're clean, they're emitting very little to no emissions. So I think that the North has competitive advantages when it comes to clean energy, and the province should be looking to where do our competitive advantages lie, where do they exist, and how are we going to take advantage of that for the people of Ontario. There's no reason why we couldn't be selling clean energy into United States right from Northern Ontario, right from where we are here in Sault Ste. Marie. We're seeing Manitoba doing that right now with the state of Wisconsin. Their state of Wisconsin is getting tax credits to get clean energy out of Manitoba. Why can't Ontario be doing that? Why are we having to buy power from Quebec or buy power from Manitoba when we could be actually be selling the clean power that we generate here at a premium into some of these other jurisdictions?
Well, you're right across the river from Michigan. Why aren't you? You've asked the question. What's the answer? Why aren't you doing it?
Well, it's something where we'd have to begin those discussions, which we are. It is part of it is an infrastructure type issue. Today, I couldn't run a power line across our St. Mary's River into Michigan and connect. The infrastructure isn't there on the Michigan side, but that is something where I think our layers of government and our city and our innovation center has a part to play to be having those conversations with Michigan to understand what are your green power needs, what do the people of Michigan and the people of the United States want for clean power, and what can we provide? Because for us, our transmission lines coming from the north to southern Ontario are very close to being full. We will be capped off, and it's a bit of a shame because we have potential to create a lot of clean energy. There's business cases behind it. There's economic sense to what we can create. But if the transmission line and the infrastructure isn't in place, then that's the next step we're doing. So in Sault Ste. Marie, we actually conducted a strategy to look at what our way forward plan is. The last decade has been fantastic, putting energy generation assets online, created a good economic boom for our area. We've created a lot of jobs through energy generation and clean energy generation. But when the transmission line and the infrastructure begins to become limited, we have to look at different strategies. And these are some of the strategies that we got to put our focus behind now. And that being, how can we either use more clean energy here productively, or how can we export that clean energy out of the north? And both of them are challenging, but that's why the Innovation Center is here, and that's why we're at the ready to take on these types of challenges and help move our region forward. All
right, speaking of challenges, let me ask you one last thing, and that is, my hunch is when people think of Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, they think first and foremost probably about Algoma Steel, now of course named SR Steel Algoma. They think about the great outdoors, because there are of course fantastic things to do outdoors, particularly at this time of year in Sault Ste. Marie. I'm not sure they think innovation. How do you get people to think more about innovation and less about steel manufacturing, skiing in the wintertime, the Lottery Corporation, which has its headquarters there, those kinds of things?
Yeah, this is something that we have identified as something we can do better. Now, with that being said, we're very proud of our history in advanced manufacturing. We're very proud of course, the great outdoors and the beauty that we have here in the north. But this is an area of focus that actually I'm responsible for here at the Innovation Center. And I'd say I'm leading a team of partners to do some outreach, to really help people understand what's happening here with smart energy in Sault Ste. Marie, and how we are moving forward with smart energy, and why Sault Ste. Marie is actually an ideal place for a clean tech company to begin discussions to be setting up and looking to place their next project here in Sault Ste. Marie, because of the abundance of clean tech companies that we have here to help support them, the great educational institutions we have in Sault College and Algoma University to fill a pipeline of talent, and just the synergies you get from being in a community that has so many renewable energy generating assets and a great skilled workforce in that region. We are starting to see a lot of pilot projects come to Sault Ste. Marie. Elson Technologies and Environmental Waste International, their reverse polymerization tire recycling plant is one that chose Sault Ste. Marie and has gone on record saying that was the right choice. That innovation makes sense in Sault Ste. Marie. The support they're getting from the community and the local skilled workforce and support structure and infrastructure we have in place is helping that company exceed and do very well. And that's, again, a cutting edge technology. You won't find reverse polymerization tire recycling anywhere else in the world like you'll find right here in Sault Ste. Marie.
Jason, how are the Greyhounds doing this year?
Not bad. They just made a couple trades. I think they got a few more coming, and we like what we see. And we think Team Canada may have missed the boat on not taking Darnell Nurse on the World Junior team. But hey, we're going to cheer for them anyway and be proud Canadians when it comes to World Junior time.
Anybody as good as Wayne Gretzky ever play for that team after Gretzky?
No, I don't think there is anyone.
I don't think so either. Jason, it's good of you to spend some time with us today. Thanks so much for being there for us. The VP of Development, Jason Naccarato, on the line from Sault Ste. Marie Innovation Center via Skype. Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Steve. Take care.
Support Ontario's public television. Donate at tvo.org.